Hey YouTube, got another video review for you today. If you drive a little subcompact car and you're tired of that little beep beep horn that sounds like a little pansy, then you definitely want to watch this video because I'm fixing to do a horn install, but I'm going to do the install using a RivNut Pro tool. If you've never seen one of those before, you're in for a treat. I've got another video on it and I'll link it to this one, but it's basically just a nut insert type tool that allows you to take any kind of hole that's on the body of the vehicle and thread, or not thread, but take one of these little nutserts, the little gold pieces, and you put it down in the hole, and then you use the little crimping tool to crimp it, and it crimps on the back side and mushrooms it out. So you can take and then put a bolt inside there and use it to secure different things. And so I just took this factory bolt out, made this little bracket here, and then you see that I've got a little hole that was already drilled into the bracket. And so what I'm going to do is take the nutsert, I'm going to take the bolt out of there, we'll put the nutsert in there, and then I'm going to put that tool on there, the crimping tool, and I'm going to crimp down, and I'm going to make a bracket to where I can bolt the air horn on there, and if I want to take it off, I can unbolt it. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've got the RivNut tool, and I've got the 10 by 24 thread pitch mandrel on there, and I'm going to take the 10 by 24 nutsert, and I'm going to screw it onto the mandrel. And then once you get it screwed down on there, then what you want to do is look right down here. You've got this hole right there on the bracket. And then you take and you slide that little nutsert over the hole, and then you crimp the handles together. Now it takes very little effort, and you just crimp them together. And then once you're done crimping it, then you take and unscrew this piece here, and now you have a area to thread a bolt into. There's the bolt, and now you can take this little air horn that I was going to mount on the car, and now I can take and thread this down in there, and it'll hold that horn right into place. Alright guys, so down here for hole number 2, you can see right there on the core support, there's that factory hole that was there, and so I just checked to see if this RivNut would fit in that hole, and the hole's almost a little too big, but it's still got enough room in there that the RivNut will be able to compress it and make it work. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the RivNut tool. And again, what you do is just open the handle up, screw that little 10 by 24 nutsert on there, and then you just stick it over that hole, and then you compress the handles, and then you can compress them a couple times, make sure it's all nice and tight, but it usually does it perfect the first time. You don't have to usually go back and do that, but you can if you'd like. And then now you just unscrew the tool, and now you have a nutsert, and you can see that it's on there nice and tight. It ain't going anywhere. And now that right there, it gives you the ability to thread a bolt down into the factory bracket. And so you're asking, well, what can you do with that? Well, now I've made just a little bitty custom bracket, and this is how I'm going to mount the air horn. I've got to finish this side over here, but this side down here is done. But you can see that I'm just going to take and tighten this up. That gives me plenty of room to mount the air horn. And so you can mount it several different ways. You can mount it like this, mount it over top, and then run your bolt down through the top of there, and then voila, now you've got a horn mount that ain't gonna go anywhere. And so once you get it mounted up, then you should be all nice and secure. Normally you would have to use some self-tapping screws, you know, drill into the body panels. So it's nice to have that riv nut tool around where you can just, you know, make a quick fix and not have to, you know, put any holes in your car. So, all right guys, I wanted to do just a quick video review for you. This is a sponsored video from Horn King. I sent them a message. They sent me out a train horn to put on the Mitsubishi Mirage. You know, this little thing is just so small, everybody cuts you off, and when you go to honk the horn in this thing, it sounds like a little piss ant. It goes beep beep, and so you know, it's not a very attention-getting type of horn. So we figured we would change that, and I added 150 dB Horn King horn on it, and just wanted to show you how that I hooked it up. And you know, I like doing things as simple as possible, and sometimes, you know, you're tempted to cut a few little corners on stuff, and so, you know, I thought, well, let's just hook it directly to the battery, and then just hook it to and just try to bypass the relay, you know. And so I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to overload that fuse and pop the fuse, and sure enough it did. So, you know, if you're like me and you know, you're just wanting to tinker around, then you're definitely gonna have to end up replacing that fuse right there. So just keep in mind, so if you do blow that fuse, it's not just a typical fuse. It's a mini fuse, but it's not just a mini fuse, it's a low profile mini. So after I blew the fuse, went to Walmart looking for some fuses, and you know, they wanted like $4 or $5 just for some Bussman fuses. There was like 5 in a pack, and I thought that's a rip-off. So I went to Amazon. I bought these little cheap fuses, and they seem to work good. There's 140 of them, and I think I give like, I don't know, $8 or $9, $10 for them. And you know, everything's labeled. The fuses seem to work great, and as you can see, what I mean by them being low profile is the little metal pieces don't stick down as far. There's plastic that comes down there in the middle, and so they're a little bit different than just a standard mini. They're actually, like I said, they're the low profile mini, so keep that in mind. I'll put a link to these to Amazon to this set of fuses. First things first, after I went back and replaced that fuse there, I knew that I wanted to go ahead and do it right and use a relay. And so I went ahead and installed this relay. I just went ahead and hooked it right here to this little metal post coming down there at the battery hold down. I just hooked it right in there with some zip ties, and that's plenty enough. You know, it's gonna hold. I double zip tied it in there, and so it's in there really nice and tight. And I'm going to show you how I went ahead and wired everything up. So I went ahead and made you guys a little diagram of a 4-pin relay. And as you can see, number 87, let's see, they're numbered. If you look right here on the relay, there's some little bitty numbers on there, so they're all numbered. And so one of them here is number 87, and that goes directly to the air compressor. And so this one right here, I believe, the one here on the end, and I've run it through this loom, and I've run it all the way across, and as you can see, I ran it to the stock horn, ran that 87 wire to the bottom of this this compressor, and number 86, and like I said, it'll be marked right there, number 86. It goes to the stock horn wire, and on the Mitsubishi Mirage, the stock horn wire is right up underneath here. It's really easy to get to. You just unplug the factory horn, and that's what this is right here. I just relocated it up here, and all you do is just do it just like that. Unplug the factory horn, and you want to take and crimp you a connector on there, and put you some heat shrink on it, and then you just plug the factory horn back up. And I wired me up a splitter so I could go from the factory horn over to the new air horn compressor. So basically I have the compressor, the new compressor, and the old horn hooked together into one wire, one heavy gauge wire, and it's ran right into this split loom up here. So that way I can get the sound from both horns instead of just one, because this train horn is kind of low sounding, and the factory horn in this thing is really high sounding. So I thought, you know what, it'll sound good if I just hook both of them up together. And so that's what I did. And I figured it would be louder as well, and trust me, it's pretty dang loud. And then right here, number 85, you can see number 85 is going to be this one right here. And you can see it runs up and it goes right over here, and it goes right to the negative battery terminal. Now I know what you're saying, that looks like a redneck mess. Don't be mad at me. I ran out of ring terminals, so I just loosened the battery right there and stuck that wire in there. Since I used a real heavy wire, you know, I'm not worried about it. And when I go to AutoZone or something, I'll just pick up a ring terminal and crimp it on, and then hook it up right here where it needs to be. Now I had one on this side, and this right here is going to the very inside terminal. That's number 30. You can look right here, number 30. It goes to the positive battery cable, and you can see that I just hooked it right up to the battery cable, and I had to take and notch out a little piece right here, this little cap for that terminal to fit right in there. But I crimped it in there, and you know, when you get this kit, it does not come with an inline fuse. So if there's anything you're going to listen to me about in this video, you need to listen to me now. And that is, do not skimp on putting a $3 or $4 inline fuse into this system. Just because if there's a short, you want that fuse to pop right there and not melt the wire and cause a fire. So always do it the smart way. Make sure you add an inline fuse. That's how you wire the relay up. This kit's $57.97 right now on their website. Like I said, it's 150 dB. I haven't confirmed that. I didn't test it on a meter or anything. Then after you get it all hooked up, you know, it only takes a minute to you know, get you some wire loom. It only costs a couple bucks. I recommend buying this stuff at Harbor Freight. You can get it really cheap there. You can see that I just ran it along all the way up in here, and then this little cable comes down is for the hood release. It's got a little mechanical cable inside that sleeve, so when you pull the latch up underneath the dash, then it releases that hood latch. And so I just took the wire loom and connected right there, and didn't squeeze it very tight. I don't want to bind that cable up, but it seemed to work out great. So I got everything mounted. It's all nice and secure. It's out of the way down there and everything, and it's not going to hit. It's been here mounted for, you know, over a month. I just hadn't got a chance to wire it up. I'm fixing to let her rip. So this is the 150 dB train horn, plus it has the stock horn together. So go ahead and hit it, Maestro. Holy cow, I about dropped the phone and I knew that it was coming. Let's know if this thing is loud or not.
Did not expect that from that car. Very loud.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. This video. 1, 2.